At what point do we stop acting as if social media grandmaster T.J. Jefferson is not in the room? Do we stop? At what point do we stop ignoring the fact that our resident diehard Clipper fan is not in the room?
From now on, it's all about the Larry O.B.
Well, I don't know about that because hold on a minute, because I'm getting conflicting information that soundbite that we have been dropping from Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, ever since he dropped that at the introductory press conference of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George last summer, hailing a new era of Clipper basketball into existence. That it's all about the Larry O.B., which is the shortened nickname of Larry O'Brien, the NBA commissioner after whom the championship trophy is named. Also, interestingly enough, the head of the Democratic National Committee, whose office Nixon's burglars broke into, a fascinating development. That the Larry O.B. is now front and center years later. That a guy who's been part of everything in our world. But arcane facts aside, how you doing, TJ? You good over there today? You all right?
I'm fine. I watched.
Oh, is it a higher register start?
Oh, man.
Higher register start.
Couldn't even make it one word.
I'm
TJ,
great.
it's okay. I gotta tell you, I apologize to you if I put any ziggy on the Clippers. Shame on me. And I say this as somebody who considers Doc Rivers a friend and a great human being for whom good things should happen and have in his blessed career in life. But I apologize for saying the Clippers after going up 2-1 on the Nuggets and then eventually 3-1. But between the 2 and the 3, I said that they had the stuff and I thought they would win the NBA championship. I feel foolish. I feel foolish. I cannot believe. Now, let me pause right here. I'm going to say this before I eventually, just like everybody in my craft, if you will, business, eventually gets around to say, hey, give credit the Nuggets credit. I'll just do it right off the bat.
They were amazing.
Okay. Jamal Murray plays like the superstar he is becoming.
Yeah, buddy.
40 points. Nikola Jokic, a triple-double before the fourth quarter that he started on the bench resting because his team was already up 8, already had that triple-double before he started resting. And then the bench that I thought was so deep for the Clippers. Nuggets bench is deeper.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And they have the right stuff. And their head coach, Michael Malone, came out and said, hey, how come we coaches aren't allowed to have creature comforts that everybody else is allowed with guests and what have you? And you could sit there and read it as to, well, he's got one foot out the door mentally. Unfair to say, but he's wondering about bubble life. And his team has now come back from 3-1 holes twice and are 6-0 in elimination games and are a dynamic team that is coming at you when their backs are against the wall. And, you know, Nugget franchise isn't lush with winning history either. I understand the Clippers have never made a conference finals, but that's not supposed to matter when Kawhi Leonard shows up as an NBA champion from his second stop as such. And he's the one I would place blame on, not because he had a poor Game 7 performance. His performance to get the Clippers to this point has been something else. I would say, if I may, that the finger of blame at Kawhi, because he's the one who pointed at playoff P and said, "You are my choice." He's the one who said to Paul George, what'd he say? And, look, I know that, when you're in this business and you're like choke job, this choke job, it's a very, I don't like saying it because that is truly one of the worst things you can say to a competitor and somebody with a resume like Paul George's. But when you are chosen by Kawhi Leonard to come and you are showing up and it's tough circumstances in the bubble, but everybody's there. Everybody's trying to do it. And you show up and you're watching Jamal Murray make shots and you're watching everybody else make shots and it's time and it's the fourth quarter and you're down 8. You cannot hit the side of the backboard on one side and then barely touch the rim from the other side. Part of an 0 for 10 to start the quarter. The most important quarter in Clippers franchise history. They're blowing this lead. They've got these two people coming in from Kawhi and Paul George. And you've got a championship head coach from Celtics past. And it's all together. And it's all about the Larry O.B. Again, we play it as having some fun. But hit it.
From now on, it's all about the Larry O.B.
So you cannot, after the game, show up and say, we never thought this was championship or bust right now. As Paul George legitimately said last night. Did you have that, Don Bowie? Hit play on that, because I heard this and I'm like, haven't I heard the all about the Larry O.B. drop all year long on the Rich Eisen Show? Go for it.
It's obvious pressure. To live up to the title expectations. But as a player, I mean, you want that. Like, you want that. Again, it's the first time I've been in that situation where we're expected to win. But, it is what it is. It's no cop-out. Fact of the matter is we didn't live up to that expectation. But I think internally we've always felt this is not a championship or bust year for us. We can only get better the longer we stay together and the more we're around each other. The more chemistry for this group, the better. I think that's really the tell of the tape of the season. We just didn't have enough time together.
Wow, enough time together. They're sitting in a bubble for weeks. I don't know how everybody who's been quarantining with your family at home right now, but we're spending a lot of time together, and we get to go out.
Yeah. Also says the guy who's a free agent next year.
I heard that, and again, he and Kawhi free agent next year. And if I'm not mistaken, Chris, look it up. The next first-round selection the Clippers have because of the acquisition of Morris, as well as what they had to pull off to get Paul George, to make sure Kawhi was happy enough that he wouldn't choose the Lakers or stay with Toronto, that the next first-round selection they have, Bronny James will be in his 10th NBA season. Are you kidding me? The window is now. And Clipper fans, I've been feeling you telling Laker fans that this is a Clipper town suddenly. Boy, was I wrong. I could not tell you how patently disappointed I was at last night, and I apologize to you, TJ. Oh, my gosh. And then, on top of it, the fact that the rest of the NBA celebrated like they were in the Nuggets locker room, dousing Malone with champagne. I mean, the Twitter feeds of Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum were must-see.
Who were sitting at home themselves.
And look at McCollum. I wonder if they packed before the game. Because that's the way it looked. And part of what McCollum was pointing out, too, McCollum was part, along with Chris Paul, the players who were trying to hold everything together when there was talk of the playoffs not being resumed, and the Clippers were the ones voting to get out.
Allegedly.
Well, it's not allegedly. Just look at McCollum's feed. He was basically saying, you know, I know they wanted to get out of here, but not like that.
Yeah.
And then going back and forth with Lillard about, you know, Lillard saying that I've got my condo in Cabo ready for you. You could take a private jet and get there right now. Oh, my gosh.
Guys who are already at home talking trash, like, come on.
Wow. I mean, the animus
Cancun
that the
on
rest
3.
of the NBA has towards Patrick Beverley, I totally get his total.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.